Hey there, math wizards. Ishan and Ishika are on a quest to find the ratio of the volumes of two amazing solids. Can you help them out? What is the ratio of the volume of the two solids?
Excellent. 126 is a brilliant choice.
Dhruv and Anika are having a fun challenge. They have a smaller cube and a stack of larger cubes. Can you help them figure out the space ratio of the smaller cube to the stacked cubes?
On track. 1-8 is the correct answer.
The ratio of losses to wins for the swim team last season was 1-5. If the team competed in a total of 30 meets last season, how many did they win?
Smart move. 25 is an accurate answer.
For every 4 red M&Ms in a pack, there are 3 brown. If there are 6 more red M&Ms in the pack, how many total M&Ms are there in the pack?
Good job. Your answer 42 works well here.
The scales have 3 pink cubes on one side and 5 purple cubes on the other. If 2 pink cubes equal to 1.84 kg, how much do 3 purple cubes weigh? Strong choice. 1.66 is the right answer.
For every gallon of fuel it burns, a diesel truck can travel 38 miles. How far can the truck travel if a full tank holds 65 gallons?
Exactly. 470 miles makes sense, and it is right choice.
Kelly has 10 apps on her iPad. 5 are school apps, 2 are music apps, and 3 are games. What is the ratio of school apps to game apps?
Right choice. 5-3 is the best answer.
Baking a recipe for 1 apple pie calls for 6 cups of sliced apples. How many cups of sliced apples are needed to make 4 apple pies?
Solid response. 24 is a valid choice.
Tommy has a bag of Legos. There are 6 yellow, 3 red, and 8 blue Legos. What is the ratio in simplest form of red to yellow Legos?
Correct response. 122 is the most accurate answer.
What is the ratio of the number of students surveyed and the number of students who picked science as their favorite subject?
Right again. 18.6 is a valid answer.
In the fruit bowl, there are 4 apples, 2 bananas, and 5 pears. What is the ratio of pears to all fruit?
Clear logic. Your choice 5, 11 is sound and 100% true.
The Northwestern Huskies had a record of 25 wins and 45 losses. What was the ratio of wins to losses?
Nice selection. Fave 9 is the correct and valid answer. A buffet offers ranch or Kaiser dressing. The ratio of ranch dressing used to Kaiser dressing used is 8:3. If the buffet uses 72 cases of ranch dressing, how many cases of Kaiser do they use?
Well done. 27 is the right choice.
Angie has calculated how many questions she has taken on all her tests for her math class. Overall, Angie has taken 95 questions for 5 tests. At this rate, how many questions were on the one test?
Excellent choice. 19 questions is the right answer.
Which is the better deal? Doritos pound 4, Tutti for 10 Gochitos pound 4, 80 for Clubquake.
Valid point. Cheetos is true.
Scale is 1 team equal to 8 km. Hatboro and Smithville are 24 cm apart on the map. How far apart are they?
Correct. 192 km is the right answer.
Is the given table a proportional relationship? If so, write an equation that relates y to x.
Bravo. Yes, y equal to 3x is the answer.
At NGMs, the ratio of face-to-face learners to digital learners is 2-3. If there are 250 students in the 6th grade, what percent of the students in 6th grade are digital learners?
You're right.
60% is the correct answer.
On a spinner, 6 spaces are blue and 4 are green. What is the ratio of green to blue spaces?
You got it. Your choice for 6 is right.
In a lively classroom filled with 10 energetic boys and 14 cheerful girls, our friends Rian and Ashi are curious about the ratio of girls to boys. Can you help them figure it out?
Great thinking. 7.5 is the right choice.
Taylor is decorating her Halloween costume for her mermaid tail. When making her tail, she does 10 pearls for every 12 scales. What is the ratio of scales to pearls in simplest form?
Nicely done. P5 is a solid answer. The pet shop has 2 dogs, 4 cats, and 5 hamsters. What is the ratio of dogs to all pets? Well picked. Tool 11 is the correct answer. Henry is buying school supplies for the start of the school year. For every 3 pencils, he buys 2 pens. If Henry buys 21 pencils, how many total pencils and pens did Henry purchase? Nice work. You chose 35 and it is correct. There are 13 boys and 10 girls in the classroom. What is the ratio of boys to girls? Well reasoned. 13 to 10 is the correct choice.
In a bag of Skittles, there are 15 red Skittles, 18 green Skittles, 21 yellow Skittles, and 16 purple Skittles. What is the ratio of green to purple Skittles in simplest form?
Good thinking. 9.8 is the right answer.
Express the ratio of shaded area to unshaded area as a fraction in simplest form.
Perfect. 5/1 is the correct choice. In a pile of Sour Patch Kids, the ratio of green Sour Patch Kids to orange Sour Patch Kids is 7:3. If there are 42 green Sour Patch Kids, how many orange would there be? Smart pick. 18 is the correct choice. The ratio of the number of roses to the number of tulips was 5:2. The number of sunflowers to the number of tulips was 3:7. The total number of sunflowers and roses was 82. Great job. Repeated identity is the accurate answer. Henry has 4 blueberry Pop-Tarts, 3 strawberry Pop-Tarts, 2 small Pop-Tarts, and 1 cherry Pop-Tarts. What is the ratio of small Pop-Tarts to total Pop-Tarts in simplest form? Sharp thinking. 1P5 is the right choice. If the unshaded area is 30 square cm, what is the area of the shaded region? You chose 150 square cm, and it is correct. Tickets to Disney World are £100. The price is going to increase on January 1st. What is the percent of change if the cost increases to £120? Well done. 20% is the right choice.
At a restaurant, the ratio of kids' meals sold to adult meals sold was 5:4. If there were 20 kids' meals sold, what is the combined amount of kids and adult meals sold?
Well reasoned. 36 is the correct choice. Avni and Ishan are having a friendly competition to see who can simplify the ratio 28. 42 to the fastest! Can you help them out and simplify it as fully as possible? On track. 2/3 is the correct answer. Country Bell Farms ice cream shop sells 3 Hawaiian ices for every 7 soft cones sold. If they sold 42 cones last Saturday, how many Hawaiian ices did they sell? Exactly. 18 makes sense and it is right choice.
A recipe calls for 5 teaspoons of seasoning for every 6 batches of chicken. If you have 12 batches of chicken, how many teaspoons of seasoning will you need?
Strong choice. 20 teaspoons is the right answer. What number goes in the box to show a proportional relationship?
Excellent. 2 is a brilliant choice.
What is the ratio of total animals to puppies in simplest form?
Nicely done. 5 to 2 is a solid answer.
In his last game, the Rams quarterback completed 10 out of 18 passes he threw. At this rate, how many passes will he attempt if he completes 15 passes?
You're right. 27 is the correct answer.
A student bought 34 pencils for school. If he sharpened 16 of the pencils before school, what is his ratio of unsharpened pencils to sharpened pencils?
Sharp thinking. 9/8 is the right choice.
At a carnival, Cody bought 15 tickets. If he used 6 tickets trying to win the ring toss game, what is the ratio of tickets he has to tickets he's used?
Excellent choice. 3 to 2 is the right answer.
Which represents the relationship of oranges to fruit?
Perfect. 2/6 is the correct choice.
A cable company had 260 subscribers. The ratio of regular subscribers to premium subscribers was 10:3. How many regular subscribers did they have?
Correct response. 195 is the most accurate answer.
There were 5 ice cream cones for every 3 brownies sold at the ice cream shop. If there were 24 brownies sold, how many ice cream cones were sold? Right choice. 40 is the best answer.
What is the correct numerator to show equivalency?
Nice work. You chose 3 and it is correct.
The ratio of the number of rulers to the number of notebooks was 3 and 8, while the ratio of the number of notebooks to the number of pens was 5:7.
Smart move. Repeated identity is an accurate answer. What is the ratio of flames to arms on the candle?
Nice selection. 3.2 is the correct and valid answer.
Favorite sports of 6th grade students: volleyball, basketball, soccer, football. What is the ratio of volleyball to not volleyball?
You chose 10/36, and it is correct.
Kawana is making personal pizzas. For 4 pizzas, she uses 10 ounces of cheese. At this rate, how much cheese will she need to make 15 pizzas?
Bravo, 37.5 ounces is the answer.
20 teachers teach in a school of 200 students. Next year, 50 more students join the school. How many more teachers would the school need now?
Great job. 5 is the accurate answer.
Rahul and Aditi are having a friendly debate about time. Can you help them determine the ratio of their time spent? 30 minutes to 2 hours?
You got it. Your choice 1/4 is right.
9 CDs cost was 45. What is the cost of 5 CDs?
Well picked. 25 is the correct answer.
In a recipe, the ratio of oats to raisins is 5:3. The ratio of raisins to chocolate chips is 2:3. What is the ratio of oats, chocolate chips?
Great thinking. 10/9 is the right choice.
A recipe called for the ratio of sugar to flour to be 5:1. If you used 35 ounces of sugar, how many ounces of flour would you need to use?
Solid response. 7 is a valid choice.
In an animal shelter, the ratio of dogs to cats is 5:3. There are 25 dogs. Write and solve a proportion to find the number C of cats.
Correct. C equal to 15 is the right answer.
There are 36 students in the gym class. The ratio of boys to girls is 42. Using the ratio, find out how many boys are in the gym class.
Clear logic. Your choice 24 boys is sound and 100% true.
You have 29 books on your shelf. You have read 18 of those books. What is the ratio of books? Not read to all of the books on your shelf.
Smart pick. 29 is the correct choice.
When playing basketball, Jeremy always makes 2 out of every 5 shots. If Jeremy takes 25 shots, how many times will he make the basket?
Good thinking. 10 is the right answer.
Angie purchased 25 fruits in all. 10 were apples and the rest were peaches. What is the ratio of peaches to apples?
Valid point. 32 is true.
How many millimeters are 27 centimeters? Right again, 270 is a valid answer.
The ratio of boys to girls in Drita Kilgore's class is 1 to 3. If there are 32 students in Drita Kilgore's class, what percent are girls?
Good job. Your answer 75% works well here.
What are the coordinates of point B?
Correct response is the most accurate answer. Of 300 students in the cafeteria, 140 had lunch. Write the ratio of the students in the cafeteria to the students that had lunch. Valid point 57 is true.
When making orange juice, you need 6 ounces of water for every 2 ounces of concentrate. How much orange juice does this mix make?
On track. 8 ounces is the correct answer.
On one section of beach, the ratio of seagulls to crabs is 5.2. There are 12 more seagulls than crabs. How many crabs are there?
Sharp thinking. 8 crabs is the right choice.
Do these ratios form a proportion? Smart pick. No is the correct choice. A recipe calls for 2 cups of flour for every 3 cups of sugar. If you use 9 cups of sugar, how many cups of flour do you need?
Excellent. 6 is a brilliant choice. It takes 30 minutes for John to solve 20-word problems. How long will it take him to solve 10-word problems at the same rate?
You're right. 15 minutes is the correct answer.
On a typical day, Susan noticed that 4 out of every 9 birds were robins. If Susan saw 63 birds, how many of them were robins?
Great thinking. 28 is the right choice.
The length of a pencil is 18 cm and a pen is 20 cm. What is the ratio of the length of the pen to the ratio of length pencil?
Nicely done. 10-9 is a solid answer.
Sean reads 5 pages in 20 minutes. He spends the same amount of time per page. How long will it take him to read 11 pages?
You got it? Your choice 44 minutes is right.
3/4 of the junior members of a tennis club are boys and the rest are girls. What is the ratio of boys to girls?
Bravo 3-1 is the answer.
In a class, there are 15 boys and 20 girls. Find the ratio of number of girls to the total number of students in the class.
Nice work. You chose 4, 7, and it is correct.
You must go to school for 10 months in a year. Express in ratio the number of months you need to be in school in a year.
Perfect. Fave 6 is the correct choice.
8 out of 10 dentists prefer Crest toothpaste. What is the ratio of dentists who do not prefer Crest to those who do?
Excellent choice. 2.8 or 1/4 is the right answer.
The ratio of boys to girls in grade V is 4 to 5. There are 20 girls in total. How many boys are there in V grade?
Strong choice. 16 is the right answer.
In a certain apartment building, the ratio of tenants to cars is 3:5. If there are 30 tenants, how many cars are there?
Correct 50 is the right answer. At a pet store, the ratio of cats to dogs sold was 10:1. If there were 60 cats that were sold, how many dogs were sold?
Exactly. 6 makes sense and it is right choice.
While working out, Susie does 25 sit-ups for every 12 push-ups. If she does 60 push-ups, how many sit-ups will she do? Well reasoned. 125 is the correct choice. Solve for A in the table.
Good thinking. A equal to 45 is the right answer. A basketball team has 5 forwards, 2 centers, and 8 guards. Which is the ratio compares the number of guards to forwards? Right again. AP5 is a valid answer. A teacher had 21 red pens. If the ratio of red pens to blue pens she owned was 3:1, how many pens did she have total?
Clear logic. Your choice 28 is sound and 100% true.
Haley has 16 boys and 12 girls in her homeroom class. What is the ratio of boys to total students in simplest form?
Well picked. Fork 7 is the correct answer.
The girls' soccer team finished the season with a record of 7 wins and 3 losses. What is the ratio of losses to wins?
Right choice. 3:7 is the best answer.
A bag of marbles comes with 3 blue marbles, 2 red marbles, and 5 yellow marbles. What is the ratio of red to yellow?
Great job. 2:5 is the accurate answer.
A chess player played 20 games total. If he won 2 of the games, what is the ratio of games he lost to games he won?
Good job. Your answer 9:1 works well here.
A recipe uses 5 liters of water for every 25 kg of flour. How many kg of flour should be used for 1 or 2 liters of water?
Solid response. 5:10 is a valid choice. If the ratio of red balls to blue balls in a bag is 5:3, how many blue balls are there if there are 20 red balls?
Well done. 12 is the right choice.
Bonus question. If my bus departs from Liverpool at 12:49 and arrives in Leeds at 14:03, how long was my journey?
Nice selection. 1 hour 14 minutes is the correct and valid answer.
At a farm, the ratio of cows to horses was 10:3. If there were 20 cows at the farm, how many horses were there?
You chose 6, and it is correct.
On last week's maths test, Carol had 21 correct out of 25 problems. How many out of 100 would she get correct? Smart move. 84 is an accurate answer. The ratio of a rectangle's base to its height is 3:2. Its perimeter is 30 cm. What is the rectangle's area? Sharp thinking. 54 square cm is the right choice. Josh bought a pizza with 8 slices of pizza for £12. What is the cost of a slice of pizza?
Exactly. £1.50 makes sense, and it is right choice.
Equal to 15 dash.
Well done. 18 is the right choice.
Patrick has 2 black, 3 red, and 5 white toy cars. What is the ratio of red toy cars to all the toy cars?
Smart pick. 3. 10 is the correct choice. On a map, if 1 centimeter represents 25 kilometers, how many kilometers does 7 centimeters represent? Well picked. 175 is the correct answer.
At Interseed Inc., 7 out of 10 people received raises. If they employ 350 people, how many got raises? Correct response. 245 is the most accurate answer. A car travels 100 km in 4 of petrol, so if destination is at 450 km, then how much petrol is needed? Right choice? 18L is the best answer.
If 24 extra large cans of soup will serve 96 people, how many cans should Anne buy to serve 28 people?
Valid point 6 cans is true. The ratio of a team's wins to losses is 3-2. If the team plays 45 games, how many games will it lose?
Excellent. 18 loses is a brilliant choice.
If the ratio of cats to dogs in a pet store is 3p4, and there are 12 cats, how many dogs are there?
Perfect. 16 is the correct choice.
If there are 5 boys for every 7 girls in math class, how many boys are there if there are 35 girls?
Good job. Your answer 25 works well here.
There are 3 boys and 4 girls from the 6th grade marching band. What is the ratio of boys to girls?
Well reasoned. 3D4 is the correct choice.
3 workers build a wall in 12 hours. How long would it have taken for 6 equally productive workers? Clear logic. Your choice 6 is sound and 100% true. If the ratio of pencils to pens in a box is 7.5, how many pens are there if there are 21 pencils?
Great job. 15 is the accurate answer.
In a theme park for 6 people, the ticket cost £39. How much does it cost for 9 people?
Correct. £58.50 is the right answer.
You cut a 3-man string into 3 parts using the ratio 1:23. How long will be the shortest part?
Great thinking. 1p2 is the right choice.
If rupee 360 is divided between Raju and Abhi in the ratio of 2:3, determine the money Abhi got.
You chose rupee 216, and it is correct.
If the cost of 6 cans of juice is rupee 210, then what is the cost of 4 cans of juice? Dash!
On track, a rupee 140 is the correct answer.
If the ratio of boys to girls in a class is 5q6 and there are 30 girls, how many boys are there?
Solid response. 25 is a valid choice.
In a class, there are 30 boys and 12 girls. Find the ratio of number of boys to number of girls.
You're right. 5q2 is the correct answer.
If income of Rajan for 5 months is rupee 125,000, so what will be his income for 1 year?
Excellent choice. Rupee 300,000 is the right answer.
Luke has 5 dozens of eggs and 20 cups of flour. What is the ratio of eggs to cups of flour?
Smart move. 3p1 is an accurate answer.
Joe swims 3 laps in a pool every 2 minutes. How long would it take him to swim 27 laps?
Right again. 80 minutes is a valid answer.
The ratio of jeans to shorts is 16:12. If there are 32 jeans, how many shorts are there?
Bravo. 24 is the answer.
A photocopier can print 45 pages in a minute. How many pages can it print for 3 minutes?
Good thinking. 135 pages is the right answer.
Reena said 1, 3 and 3, 9 are not equal because 1x3 is not equal to 3x9. Is she correct?
Nice selection. No is the correct and valid answer.
If the Hawks won 100 games and lost 60, what is the simplified ratio of wins to losses?
Strong choice. 5-3 is the right answer.
A class has 75 students. If there are 50 boys, what is the ratio of girls to the class?
Nicely done. 1-3 is a solid answer.
Stuart visited 40 people in 4 hours. How long will it take Stuart to visit 120 people?
You got it? Your choice 12 hours is right. For finding out ratio of 2 quantities, both should be expressed in the dash low unit.
Nice work. You chose A same, and it is correct.
Ratio of sweaters to vests is 6:5. If there are 30 vests, how many sweaters are there? Great job. 36 is the accurate answer.
Connor watched 4 movies in 6 hours. How long would it take Connor to watch 10 movies?
Great thinking. 15 is the right choice.
Paige rode her bike 4x5 mile. Megan rode her bike 3-4 mile. Which statement is true?
Smart pick. 4-5 3x4 is the correct choice.
In a proportion, the product of the extremes is less than the product of the means.
Right again. False is a valid answer.
The ratio of pots to pans is 20:32. If there are 48 pans, how many pots are there?
Good thinking. 30 is the right answer.
If the ratio of cats to dogs is 3-4, how many cats are there if there are 20 dogs?
Excellent choice. 15 cats is the right answer.
What should be added to each term of ratio 3.8 so that it may become equal to 2u3?
You got it. Your choice 7 is right.
Ratio of trucks to cars is 5:12. If there are 50 trucks, how many cars are there?
Sharp thinking. 120 is the right choice.
2 numbers are in the ratio 2-3. If the sum of numbers is 60, find the numbers. You're right. 24 and 36 is the correct answer.
Kevin packs 25 boxes in 2 hours. How many boxes can he pack in an 8-hour shift?
Nicely done. 100 is a solid answer.
A class has 15 boys and 20 girls. What is the boy-girl ratio in simplest form? On track, 3-4 is the correct answer. Ratio of girls to boys is 3-8. If there are 48 boys, how many girls are there?
You chose 18, and it is correct.
If the angles of a triangle are in the ratio 2-3-4, then the largest angles is
Correct response. 80 degree is the most accurate answer.
Sarah types 150 words in 3 minutes. How many words does she type per minute?
Strong choice. 50 is the right answer.
Rusty walked 5 miles in 65 minutes. How long did it take him to walk 2 miles?
Clear logic. Your choice 26 minutes is sound and 100% true.
a team won 30% of its games. If it won 6 games, how many games did it play?
Exactly. 20 games makes sense, and it is right choice.
Express this ratio in simplest form. There are 16 male teachers out of 40.
Solid response. 2.5 is a valid choice.
Express the ratio as a fraction in simplest form, 6 red cars to 4 blue cars.
Right choice. 3/2 is the best answer. Right true or false ratio is a number with specified unit dash. Perfect. The false is the correct choice.
If cost of 12 pens is rupee 84, then what is the cost of 10 such pens?
Excellent. Rupee 70 is a brilliant choice. Will you get an equivalent ratio for 80-10 if you add 2 to each number? Bravo. No is the answer. There are 4 birds and 6 snakes. What is the ratio of birds to snakes?
Good job. Your answer 2.3 works well here.
There are 3 squares and 2 triangles. The ratio can be expressed as.
Nice work. You chose 3, 2, and it is correct.
What is the factor between the number sequence below? 8, 16, 32, 64, 128.
Well reasoned. X2 is the correct choice.
Write the ratio as a fraction in simplest form. 24 players, 3 teams.
Valid point. 81 is true.
The order of terms in a ratio is very important. True or false?
Well done. A true is the right choice.
Write the ratio as a fraction in simplest form. 15 girls to 6 boys.
Smart move. Fibri 2 is an accurate answer.
If there are 5 boys and 7 girls, write the ratio of girls to boys.
Correct. 7 to 5 is the right answer.
If 10 pencils cost rupee 50, what will be the cost of 12 pencils?
Well picked. Rupee 60 is the correct answer.
There are 15 boys out of 23 students. What kind of ratio is this?
Nice selection. Part to whole is the correct and valid answer.
Express 12 baskets in 18 attempts as a fraction in simplest form.
Nice selection. 2, 3 is the correct and valid answer.
Which number will complete the equivalent ratio for 2 to 8, 6, 20, dash?
Exactly. 60 makes sense and it is right choice. If 6 men can plow a field in 2 days, how long will 3 men do it? Good thinking. 4 days is the right answer.
Identify the antecedents in the following ratios: 1, 3, 4, 5, 7.
Nicely done. 1, 4, 7 is a solid answer.
Write if the given proportion is true or false if you A at 9 equal to 24, 18.
Great thinking. False is the right choice.
The numbers 10 and 20 in the proportion 10, 30, 20, 60 are dash.
Smart move. None of these is an accurate answer. Determine the ratio of the following 30 minutes to 2 hours. Good job. Your answer 1, 4 works well here.
Does the pair of ratios form a proportion 3:16 and 94:H?
Great job. Yes is the accurate answer.
Answer should be in simplest form: 3 ribbons to 13 ties.
Right choice. 3, 13 is the best answer.
If a B equal to C a D, then a B, C, and D are said to be in dash.
Clear logic. Your choice proportion is sound and 100% true.
Identify the middle term from the proportion 3/6 when 1 used 2.
Well done. 6 and 1 is the right choice.
88 students for 4 classes show many students per class.
Correct. 22 students per class is the right answer.
Bonus question. What is 3.85 hours in minutes? On track. 2:31 is the correct answer.
The equivalent ratio of 4p5 is dash dash.
You're right. A25 is the correct answer.
Find the ratio of 30 minutes to 45 minutes. You got it? Your choice 2, 3 is right. What is the ratio of 1 hour to 300 minutes?
Correct response. 1, 5 is the most accurate answer.
What is the ratio of 90 minutes to an hour?
Right again. 3Q2 is a valid answer.
Express the ratio in its simplest form: 2:66.
Bravo. 1, 3 is the answer.
Which of these ratios is equivalent to 3, 4?
Sharp thinking. 9, 12 is the right choice.
Which of the following is in proportion?
You chose 30/64 equal to 60/12. And it is correct.
Find the unit rate, 232 miles in 4 hours. Solid response. 58 miles per hour is a valid choice.
Which pair of ratios forms a proportion?
Valid point. 16:4 and 24:6 is true.
Which ratio doesn't belong to the group?
Well picked. 9:36 is the correct answer.
What is the value of n in 12:36 equal to n 27?
Nice work. You chose 9 and it is correct.
Which is an equivalent ratio of 6:13.
Smart pick. 52 odd is the correct choice.
Proportions are denoted by the symbol.
Well reasoned is the correct choice.
Simplify as fully as possible 28/42.
Excellent choice. 2 and 3 is the right answer.
What is an equivalent ratio to 3/4?
Perfect. What 3/16 is the correct choice?
Find the missing number he 25 equal to 20.
Strong choice. 8 is the right answer.
What ratio is equivalent to 3/5?
Excellent. 9. 15 is a brilliant choice.
Which is not equivalent to 3/5.
You got it. Your choice 21/28 is right.
How many hours are in 8 days?
Excellent choice. 8/24 is the right answer.
75 pays to rupee for dash.
Strong choice. 8/320 is the right answer.
75 is 15% of what number?
Great job. 500 is the accurate answer.
Simplify the ratio 48 of 50.
Excellent. 24/25 is a brilliant choice.
Simplify the ratio 20 of 36.
On track. Fave 9 is the correct answer.
Equal to 15. 20 true or false?
Solid response. True is a valid choice.
In the simplest form, great thinking, 1/2 is the right choice, is equivalent to 2/3.
Nice work. You chose no, and it is correct.
Simplify 30/45. Nice selection. 2/3 is the correct and valid answer. What is ratio?
Smart pick. Comparing two numbers is the correct choice.
How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format?
Well done. Contact Narayan Chengder on Facebook is the right choice.